Welcome, everyone. I am beyond excited that we get to be talking about a very important subject today, which is disruptive strategies so that we can make and earn more money without having to sell more homes. So we're gonna go really deep. We're gonna go really, into how we can make sure that in this second half of the year, we're aligning our strategies to be very crystal clear on how to make sure that we're netting the most money as agents, and so we can work smarter and not harder, right? That's the whole thing. So we can spend more time with our families, more time with our friends, all of those things that we want to do. And so we're going to have some fun. Before we jump in, feel free, if you have any questions at any time, you can either raise your hand or put those questions in the chat box. We'll also be saving time at the very end to make sure that we have plenty of time for any questions of what we talk about today or any questions that you have at all. And yeah, and let's have fun. So for those that I haven't had the pleasure of meeting in person, my name is Brendan Bartic. I am a Keller Williams Maps coach. Been selling residential real estate for just now over 22 plus years. Sold well over $1 billion personally in residential real estate. And we have a real estate team that sells over 400 homes every year, and we do a lot of money and we do all those great things. All that being said, the reason I love this subject so much is we did this entire analysis with our own team and our own business. And we looked at it and said, look, we're doing a lot of work. Are we getting the most out of the work we're doing? And that's where this class came from, was researching, talking to elite agents across the country on what they were doing to secure more income for every deal that they were doing. And basically, yeah, just how in the heck we could go from averaging a certain amount of compensation per every deal to maximizing it while providing the best overall service and value to the client. And that's what this all comes from, is servicing the client at the highest level, and then of course making sure that our value is there for ourselves. So let's jump in. Before we do, anything we say in this session is for educational entertainment purposes only. As we've always known since the dawn of time, we're going to be talking about compensation. Everything in compensation is negotiable. Of course, we're going to honor all of the rules and regulations, and anything you hear today, if you are going to implement it, make sure you run it by your managing broker first, your legal team, whatever you need to do. Make sure you're staying safe out there in the world. All right. So the hard truth, right? Let's talk about the hard truth. Volume is a losing game. And when I talk about this, we've got to take away this limited belief that we were kind of instilled with. Think about it. Everything that we celebrate in real estate is based on production, right? You get an award if you sold X amount of units. You get an award if you sold X amount of volume. But you rarely, and this is because people are, personal about their finances, you don't get that award that you see on the public stage or on the big stages going, so and so netted this much and actually sold less homes than this other person, but made 3 times as much money. And so that's the hard truth, right? Is that we just get programmed in our team meetings at our office, everywhere you hear it. If you want to be a top producer, you got to sell units. And that is the losing game. So we want to make sure that we're really clear on how to not get sucked into that trap, right? Ego is a big problem that we have, right? We want to just show the world that we're the best. Well, what we really want is to make the most money with the least amount of headache and effort in the shortest period of time while providing amazing value, right? So you're going to have to take a moment to just start thinking about that and going, I'd rather be less on the unit board and more in the profit board or in the income board than being sucked into this game, right? And I am an example of this. I thought my entire existence was to just crush units, right? And I'm running around like a chicken with my head cut off, selling 130 units by myself as an individual unit, as an individual agent. and trying to win every award, and you're doing all of this stuff. And then you start looking at it and going, well, what if I could sell 80 and make the money that I was doing selling 130? So that's what we're trying to think about in the mindset before we move into this, is just that's the hard truth about this, is that we've got to be really focused on profit. And of course, we know as a company, we talk about profit all the time, but that's where we're going to be going today. All right. So why does this happen, right? Not only why does it happen in the competition aspect, but then we have this limited belief that we can't get more value from every deal because of all of these limited beliefs in our mind, right? Our competition will do it for less. And we're not only going to talk about listing compensation, buyer compensation, we're going to talk about two other very key strategies that have nothing to do with how much you make per deal as far as your actual commission, right? We're going to be talking about all kind of different strategies. But what we find is that we get caught up in this. In my market, I just talked to an agent the other day in Canada. He said, in Canada, there is no way anyone on earth would pay X amount for a list side compensation in my market. That's a limited belief. There are plenty of agents in Canada and America and all over the country that are making way more than you would ever think they are, right? Whether it's 3.5, 5.5, 6.5. I know agents that are getting 10% for every single deal that they close because of the package that they present to the client, and the client finds value in that said package and is more than happy to pay their fee because of that value. So we have to first, shake off those limited beliefs that it can't be done in my market, right? Then some of the others that we hear all the right is either the market is too hot, right? The houses are selling so fast, the sellers don't think that I even deserve to make what I should be making. Limited belief, right? It's a seller's market. It's in my market, sellers just won't pay that much. It's the only way to compete with agents doing it for less. So I remember when we had this discount broker come into our market, and they thought they were going to be this huge disruptor, and they were selling all listings for a flat fee. And everybody was like, oh my gosh, they're going to destroy the industry. It's going to be the end of real estate as we know it. They'll sell a house, any house, for, let's just say, 5 grand flat or whatever the number was. That company's out of business. They don't even exist anymore, right? So even if they did, they serve a particular client market, right? Are we always going to have budget clients that are just solely focused on, I want to do it the cheapest and that's it, right? What we see this all the time, right? We have people that do their grocery shopping at, I don't know, whatever you are in the country, but Costco or Safeway, and then we have people that go to Whole Foods. Two different, totally different experiences with a different margin. Yes, we're both buying bread. One bread is made out of enriched poison that's probably going to kill you one day. My favorite kind, to be very honest. Or I'm going to get an artesian, it's got all the sesame seeds that were organically made out of, baby worms in the south of France, whatever it might be. And we're like, oh, one bread, $1, that bread, $6. Well, I need those organic poppy seeds, $6 bread I'm going to buy. So it's the same thing in real estate, right? It's also the experience. A Whole Foods experience is going to be different than, I have a local Safeway by my house. That's a different experience, right? Safeway is where dreams go to die, right? Both sell food. One sells Whole Foods much more, Safeway not as much. So think about that. Do you want to be a Safeway agent or do you want to be a Whole Foods agent? That's what we're trying to get, making sure that we're clear on, and how we determine our value and our worth to our clients. Okay. Now, the reality, as we just talked about, we don't offer enough value. We are not confident enough in our sales conversations. So we get into a negotiation over our value, and seller goes, yeah, like everything you say, Brendan, but would you do it for this? And you go, yeah, I'll do it for that. And you just fold like a deck of cards, right? You just fold that quick because you're not practicing your conversations of being very confident in what your value is and how to navigate those conversations. We don't create enough win-win situations, right? So we think that if we charge a certain amount, we win and the client's losing money or losing what they want, right, out of this experience. We aren't focused on solving specific problems. So we're going to a client with a one size fits all process, and their needs are different. Every client's needs are going to be different, and we're trying to shove down. In fact, I just personally had this conversation with a client, and she was interviewing another agent, and the agent was, my compensation is just X flat, right? He goes, that's it, that take it or leave it. You don't like it, that's how I roll. And they had been friends for years. So what does she do? She starts shopping him, right? Starts shopping him. Hey, he's saying he'll only do it for this, and this is what he's willing to offer. But I was just feeling that kind of seemed kind of cold. Is there any other options out there for me that fit my specific needs, whether they're less or more? That's how that happens, right? So we've got to be cognizant of that. And I know where this comes from, right? A lot of the times when we came into real estate, we had this old school managing broker that they were like, when they say this, you just go, that's it, and that's how it is, right? And at certain times, right? And that's fine. Remember, you're allowed to defend your value. I know with all this NAR, things out there and the legalities and all of this, and Maps Coaching's probably getting scared anything I say moving forward from this exact moment. But remember, we've always been negotiating our compensation. Everything, of course, is always negotiable. But if you don't want to negotiate on your value, you do not have to. You just have to make sure the client knows that you're allowed to walk away. They're allowed to walk away, right? But you don't have to do anything if you don't feel it's worth your time, energy, effort, and value package that you're providing, right? So we got to make sure that we're clear on that. Um, and then lastly, we don't provide options. We're delivering a one size fits all service program. All right. So let's talk about ways to solve that. All right. So when we look at this, we're going to talk about strategy number one, which is custom value packages. Right. So when we think about a custom value package, what we want to think about is going, look, I may have a client that just wants the bare bones package. They just want to be on the MLS. They want me to handle the negotiations. They want me to do A, B, C, D. Then you might have another package for a client where they're going, okay, look, they have different needs, right? They maybe need cleaning services, a home warranty, a stager, this or that. So now I have a second tier, which is A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, right? And then we've got the package that is our creme de la creme. It's the perfection package, and it's got A to Z, and it's power packed with all of these different items. So as you're joining us today, I want you to think about this, right? I want you to think about taking a piece of paper, right? Take a blank piece of paper if you're not driving right now. And I want you to go from left to right on that piece of paper in kind of a landscape format. And I want you to think about what are your basic level of services and what would you be willing to charge for that? Then your next upgraded services. And then lastly, your Mac Daddy package, right? The Mac Daddy package that is just, basically you do everything. And then here's the thing I want you to think about. We're going to show you an example of this in just a moment. And then think about your profit margin that you need to make for you, your family, taxes, all of that, that you would feel comfortable with for each package. And that's how you determine what you're going to charge to someone, whether on the buy side or on the list side, right? Now, I'm going to use a list side example for the time that we have today, but you can easily do this on the buy side as well, especially with buyers paying our buy side compensation, or if it's going to be worked into the seller negotiation, all of that. But people have different needs. They may require different options and levels of services. Okay, so let's see what that looks like at full speed. Now, if in our world, would I call it the gold, platinum, double platinum package? No, that's your decision to make. This is just for the example of doing this, right? You can come up with these names. Companies all across the country do the same thing, right? Anything that you're looking at, you can get a standard model Mercedes, you can get a Mercedes with a few bells and whistles, and you can get a Mercedes that is macked out, decked out, got everything on it. It practically, holds your hand, right? I was trying to be PC, right? It does all of these things. That's how this looks because you have a different consumer. So gold package number one, right? Maybe you're just going to market to the MLS. You're going to do the open houses. You're going to, put it for sale sign. You're going to do digital sign writer, professional photography. Maybe that's what you're going to do in that package. Then you start looking at, okay, that's standard. Now I add on the extra things. Now these are all just samples. Every market's different. I completely understand there's different things that you can offer, right? You see home warranty on there. You see virtual tour videos. Here's the lie that we tell ourselves. Some of us make our one size fits all package and we go, everybody needs all of this stuff, and that's it. Now, I'm going to tell you in another strategy here in a second. There's two different things. You can go value packages, or you can sell a program that solves the seller problems that you believe in, and then you do have one package that you know is going to fit almost 100% of the people. And if they don't like that strategy, then you customize it if you need to along the way. But if you're doing this in full time, right, and you're looking at these packages, as you get to that luxury, right, now that luxury package can include maybe a fix and list option where you're going to put $2,000 down towards doing repairs and custom, cosmetic items and helping them make their property look better and cleaner and fresher. You could have full staging services. You could have all of these extra things that you want to add on there. So as you look at these three, I want you to think about what would you charge? How much would your cost be, excuse me, to service each one of these packages? And then how much do you need to make in profit to deliver them? And when we think about profit, right, I always try to look at going, I need a 4x return minimum on anything that I'm offering, right? A 4x return on anything I'm offering. So everything that we go up in our compensation model, we need to look at delivering that in that mindset. But you are your own business owner. You can make that decision yourself and structure it however you see fit. Okay. So when we're looking at this, we have to be very clear. Once we decide what our packages are, how are we going to present them to the client? Right? Because so much of what we do is we're on Shark Tank every single day, right? We're on Shark Tank. When we meet with a seller or buyer, we're pitching those sharks to buy our product, to invest in our product. Our product happens to be ourselves and our value package and our service that we're providing, right? So there's ways to do this. Now, I've had agents that they take all of the individual items that they do and they have them on little 3x5 card laminated pieces, and they lay them all out and they go, so here's the entire package. And they lay everything out on the table in front of the client. And they go, now, if you're not wanting that package, when we start pulling away things, right, this gets us down to our second package. If we start pulling these away, it gets us down to our base model package. And usually the client's going to go, wait. I don't know if I want you to take that away. If you're able to explain the value of the things that you're delivering and how it's going to net them the most money possible, right? How it's going to net them the most money possible. Now, that all becomes your presentation skills, right? So you can either do the takeaway method, you can have this detailed out in a brochure, right? In a nice brochure, and you go, here are the three packages that I offer. They're all amazing. Most of the clients that I work with go with package number whatever, if you want to do the middle package, and if you feel that that's your kind of go-to package, right? They feel they like this one the most. That's what most clients go with. Because think about it, you pitch that to your client and they're looking at you going, everyone in their brain immediately goes, I don't want the cheapest, but I also don't want the most expensive. So what am I going to do? So think about your middle package if you're going to offer this type of strategy, being that one that A, makes you the most money for your time, effort, and energy, and two, of course, delivers the most overall value to the client. And then if there's the budget or the luxury, person, and I hate to say luxury, it's not the luxury, it's the person that wants all the bells and whistles, you can go that route. So that's how we think about value packages, and that's why they're so important. Now, the second strategy is and let me go back to this. Sorry, I just want to finish this one thought because I almost forgot about it. Now, remember, we want to make more money for every deal that we do. So if you're thinking about how you're going to offer your compensation on this, and I'm not going to say set numbers, let's just say that you're charging 3 bananas for option 1, 4 bananas for option number 2, and 5 bananas for option number 3, right? So 3, 4, 5 banana offering is what we're looking at here. Got to be careful with anything I say lately, right? 3, 4, 5 banana option, right? If you think about 5 bananas, right, and you're looking at it being 2 more bananas than your standard package, how much more of that is going to come to you in revenue and then also, right, be acceptable to the client and feeling that the value is there. So again, this is all up to you. You are the business owner. You get to decide exactly how you want to structure this. But the days of some of the old school things of just going, I've got one thing and this is what it is and that's what I do and it's a challenge. It's a challenge. Now, do I know tons of agents that have success with this? Absolutely, right? The second strategy I'm going to show you next is the one that we utilize personally and that I truly believe because I've done all of these strategies and have tried them all over the course of the 22 years. I'm not saying that this next one is better than this one in any form or fashion. I'm just saying to think about what fits your model, what you like to do, what your market's willing to find acceptable, if that's the right word, and just make sure that you know it, love it, and have passion delivering it, right? And you'll have a ton of success, and you'll make more money, okay? Number 2, solving the seller's problems. So this strategy is now thinking about it going, instead of having value packages, I'm going to create a program, a strategy that we know and believe in that's different than most of my competition because most of my competition bases their value on the services they provide, right? We went back to those options, these a la carte items, and going, if I do more, you should pay me more. That's one way of looking at it, right? If I do more and offer you more stuff, you should pay me more. Or you can go with a strategy that solves the seller's problems. And when you solve the problems and you have something unique, they're going to pay for your proven strategy and program that solves their problems and reduces the amount of friction in the process, right? So that last one is, here's all the things that we do. This one is here's how I take the pain away and with our proven strategy, net you the most money possible, okay? Now, in our world, we call that sold in 65. We'll sell your home in 65 hours without having to do any open houses, one-off showings, and you're gonna net more in a faster period of time. And I don't have the entire time today to teach you the entire thing. If you have questions about sold in 65, reach out to us. We have, in-person live trainings, all kind of fun stuff. We'll talk about that another time. But that's a different strategy that we're looking at. And what we focus on is we start thinking about what does the seller struggle with? and what affects them in making the most money. Well, we know the number one thing that makes agent or sellers struggle with their pricing is time on market. So this is just a sample from our presentation. For every day that you're on the market, you become a depreciating asset. So as you see on this graph, if you're on the market 0 to 7 days, you have the highest likelihood, and this is statistical, these aren't fake numbers that we're like, we think it's like this, right? We run this in our entire market to make sure that we know if you sell in this period of time, the people that do usually get 100% of their asking price or more. Now, every single day that goes by, the likelihood of you getting the highest price on average drops dramatically. So we know that time matters. And with our process, we get your home sold in 65 hours or less. And then we explain to them Colorado's most innovative home selling program strategy, right? And when we explain that strategy to them, they look at it, they go, I get it. This makes sense. This is different. I understand now your process. And they believe in you and a program. And then you decide how many bananas that strategy is worth, right? Now, you can test that number. You can do all this. We were making less bananas before when we didn't have this program. And when we installed this, we made at least one more banana than we were making before on doing this program, right? Bananas. What a world we're in now, right? So that one banana difference times 450 homes, that's a lot of bananas. It's a lot of bananas, right? And that can be a game changer. That can be an absolute game changer for anyone out there that is looking to make more money by selling a proven strategy and program and not their resume, right? Here's the thing. Here's the traditional real estate model. The reason there's so much hesitation of being a top listing specialist is you have this limited belief that I have to sell my experience and the things I do for you, right? Matterports and virtual tours, and I have a model that comes and sits at your kitchen table that we take pictures of, and when we do that, it's all of this, right? A la carte items, and then we have to sell our resume. We have to sell our resume, right? So they're like, how many years have you done this? How many of this? We have agents that are not even 21 that are going out and selling a program, a strategy, taking listing after listing because the client believes in that system. You're going, my system is going to get you what the results that you're looking for, not how long I've been in real estate. Thanks, Tamara. Right? Not how long I've been in real estate, not what my resume is, not how many homes I've sold on X website. I don't want to say, whatever, right? How many reviews and testimonials I have. People want to know, people want the sausage. They want the best sausage. They don't necessarily care how the sausage is made. So you're sitting here trying to go, look, I have the best sausage on earth. You don't have to tell them, here's every step of that process. Here's all of these little pieces that we do to make that work. You just need to get them to believe in you and your strategy, right? So one of the problems we solve is time on market. The second that we knew was a big issue for clients that we were facing was being hit with costly inspection items, repairs, after they went under contract, costing them thousands of dollars. So we have a strategy that solves that, right? The way that we do things, and we offer a Supreme 210 home warranty. Shout out to 210, no plug there, it's just who we use, right? We offer these things on the front side, but it's not just the offering on a home warranty in our package, it's how we explain that value to the client so that they understand that if they get hit for having to replace a furnace in the inspection, it could cost them X amount. We protect them when we take the listing, while they're under contract, and the buyer for 12 months after the closing. So now when I run our strategy and we have our VIP showing window and I talk to these clients, they can feel a lot more comfortable making a very good offer, even if the furnace is 27 years old, because it's good. They're protected, right? We got you. You don't have to worry about that. Now, is there a lot more things to this program and strategy? Of course there is. I'm just giving you two nuggets to use as an example so you can start thinking in your own design how you want to leverage this and how you want to do it, right? What problems do you want to solve? What strategy are you going to deliver to do that? And how many bananas is that strategy worth? Okay. All right. So, strategy number 3, brokerage service fee, right? Brokerage service fee. So for those that are on in the chat box, just a simple yes or no. Are you charging your clients a brokerage service fee? Some might call it a transaction fee. Some might call it different things in different areas. Thank you. Yeah, thanks for the interactiveness and being honest, right? Yeah, right. It's a mixed bag. Now, before you get limited belief devil on your shoulder going, ugh, I hate this. When I hear people even talk about this, it makes me cringe. That's a limited belief. I just want to help you make more money for the work that you do. Okay. So a brokerage service fee is a direct reflection of the level of service you provide. And here's how I want you to think about it. I get paid a commission to do a job. A brokerage service fee incorporates other things that I do besides that one job, right? You think about it like when they sell you a car and it's like, oh, you got the tire warranty and you got this and you got that and you got all these different things. Or when you buy a car, they just charge you a service fee or what is it, a transportation fee? I don't know, whatever. I'll think about the word here in a second, right? Right? All these companies do this, and it's not a junk fee. It's not this. They know that they have a certain service that they provide that they receive an X amount of compensation for. You just have to decide what that is and how you're going to explain it. Now, for those that said no, I just want to show you some simple numbers, and then I'm going to tell you how to be able to employ this. All right, so when we look at these numbers, right, just take a look over there. If you sell 10 homes in 12 months with a $599 transaction fee, just 10 homes, you make an additional $5,900, $6,000 on those same 10 homes. Now, in some of these markets across the country, that means you could sell one less home a year and still make the same amount just by doing this one simple thing. Now, when you're in the 50 home mark, right, and you're you're selling 50 homes, $29,000. When you get to the 100 level, right, you, your team, whatever it is, $59,000, really $60,000 when you're looking at this. So this is why it's so critical. Now, you're like, why $599, right? Some of you can put in the chat box what you actually charge, and that's fine. There's no worries about that. There's nothing wrong about talking about what we charge for our brokerage service fee, right? I know agents that charge $199. I know agents that charge $15.99. 1599. Thanks, Terry. Yeah, Terry's got 495. Yeah, I like the 495. Scott, excellent job. Yeah, fantastic. Right? So this limited belief, right, that A, it's not possible, B, I don't like doing it, when I talk about it on my estimated net sheet. And first of all, we have to talk about that, right? If you're going to deliver your value package, please write this down. I have to be an expert at net sheets. An expert, not only making them, presenting them. I will tell you that one of my greatest gifts on this planet, and I do have like 3, one of them is delivering an estimated net sheet. And let me tell you why I'm so passionate about it. You can do everything else in the presentation. You can juggle, you can have fireworks going off, you can have all these things that you do, a projector that you're showing the client, you've got your PowerPoint, all of this. If you can't go and show them an estimated net sheet in an eloquent, sophisticated way that just goes boop, 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 and here's what you're going to walk away with, it doesn't matter what you do, because when you get to that point and you get nailed with how much you're charging, if you don't do it correctly, the objections that you're going to hear are just going to stunt you with, would you do it for less? What's that thing? I don't get that. Why are you doing it that way? I don't know that. And again, we have an amazing video on our YouTube channel, Brendan Bartic, YouTube channel. You can Google it. It's right there. It's awesome, right? That takes you through all of this. But you have to be able to deliver estimated net sheets at the highest level. Otherwise, you're just gonna get all these objections, right? And that's not what we want to do. Everything as a professional listing specialist, buyer specialist, comes down to your presentation skills and your ability to keep a rhythm and keep control of the conversation to lead to a successful result, which is a signature, a relationship, a handshake, a fist pump, you selling that property, getting them the most value possible, and them loving you. Here's the thing. Does anybody want to take 3 weeks to sell their home? 9 weeks, 10 weeks, 15 weeks? No, right? They want it done in the shortest period of time for the most money possible with the least amount of friction. So when you leave this today, if you're not part of an organization that's already completed this for you, right? Go to the whiteboard and go, how do I sell homes as fast as possible for as much money as possible while reducing the amount of friction and the pain that the seller has to deal with during that process, and help yourself build that program. Okay. All right. So what should I charge, right? When we're talking about brokerage service fee, transaction fee. So what should I charge? Well, it depends on what you're going to value that fee for, right? So you need to decide. What I do is with our 599 is when I'm explaining it to the client, I'm letting them know that after we close, this 599 brokerage service fee is going to protect you for the lifetime of the transaction for anything else that would come up after we close. And then I always give an example of issues that come up. Now, in the chat box, have you ever had a deal close and issues came up after the closing? Yes or no, right? Have you ever had a deal close and some issue came up after the closing? Yes or no? All the time, right? Yes. Oh, yeah, right? So you have to make sure you're eloquent in that example. Now, I use one that I just do for this presentation that has cows, right? So I go, so we have a brokerage service fee. Just in fact, the other day, I closed a home for a seller. After he closed, the new buyer that purchased the property, the neighboring property's cows came onto their property. They didn't know where the cows came from, didn't know how to get the cows off of their property. We had to track down the seller, figure out how to do all of these things, where the break was in the fence, make sure that those cows would not come on their property ever again. And those are the things that I'm going to handle for you for anything that comes up after the closing for our $599 brokerage service fee. Okay? Now, some of us justify it with, I'm going to have a professional transaction coordinator reviewing every single piece of the, so we're going to have a third set of eyes on that. And Mr. Client, Mrs. Client, you're going to want that, that kind of coverage on there. I've heard a million different explanations on how to do this. You just need to decide what you're willing to offer for that. Okay? It's not a warranty, right? In that statement, I didn't say that I'm protecting your home against anything that could happen to it. I'm not providing a home warranty, or I'm not doing anything like that. It protects you. And I've heard, a lot of people go, we're going to store the file for 5 years, right? We're going to revisit anything, all of these different explanations. But the one that I just gave you is super simple. If you're willing to go, look, I'm going to address anything that comes up after the transaction for the lifetime of, after the transaction, the lifetime coverage, that's what it's for. Now, if they go, well, how do I explain that brokerage service fee to my client? Remember, in your net sheet, it's got to be displayed in a very smooth way, right? You have a one-page net sheet, and you're going, here's what I receive in compensation. Here's what you're able to offer in optional buyer agent compensation. Here's our brokerage service fee, and here's what that does. Here's how much it's going to cost for the title insurance, depending on where you're at in the world and your location, right? We have title insurance here in Colorado. Here's what the title insurance is. Here's what you said you owed on the property. And then at the very bottom, I have a huge box, right? Big box, rectangle box with here's what you're going to be walking away with net after it's all said and done. I circle that, put a smiley face next to it, and then please write this down. The one thing you never want to do in your whole experience of being a real estate agent is ask them if they have any questions. I deliver the net sheet, circle that number, and I move right into the next section of my presentation. I've watched agents that I've shadowed get to this part, and even in role play, and they are so innate. They go through all the numbers and they go, "So, Bob, after seeing all those numbers, you got any questions?" Of course, they're going to have questions. They're going to ask you the simple question, will you do it for less? I don't understand what that cost is, maybe, or not understand. Why do I have to pay that? What is that? We're not trying to do anything that's, not above bar, but there's just a rhythm to this. I watch people cripple themselves with these types of things that they're doing. So it's deliver it, circle the net sheet, circle the net number, and move on, and just keep it moving. Most people will just keep moving with you all the time. Okay? So those are just some pro tips there, and I hope that helps. How do I overcome pushback? So they go, "Hey, I get the 599, but yeah, I've never heard of this. I've sold 7 homes in the last 12 years. I move all the time. I've never seen this type of thing on there. So yeah, I don't have any desire to feel comfortable with paying that." So here's where you have options. You go, "I can appreciate that. And Susie, you know what? I want to make sure that we have a win-win situation. Why don't we do this? Just to make it fair. The least that I can do that's allowed by my company and my brokerage is $299. So I'm willing to go to $299. And then on that other $299, right, the other $300, if you could just give me one referral for anyone else that's looking to buy or sell real estate, I'll just wash that away. Does that sound fair? Right? Win-win, win-win, always trying to do win-win. If there's still stuff, and when you use that verbiage, would that be fair? They'll look down, look at you, look down, look at you. They want to be fair. People in their mind, psychology, they want to be fair. So they're going to go, "Yeah, that's fair. Okay." And you move on and keep that rhythm going, right? If you start tongue tying yourself and going, "Look, I get it, Susie, but the 599, it's got this and that and this," and then they just go, "Uh-huh, right, yeah, no," right? So think about your technique, your presentation as you're delivering all of this, right? These are, and there's plenty of other ones that we can do. We don't have the time today, obviously, to go to every single objection. We cover this in our Pulse program. You're more than welcome to find out more information about that, but these are the types of things that we focus on and work on. And then the last one is a bonus. So I want to give you this bonus one when we're just talking about how to make more money, or a lot of times in making more money, it's not giving up our money or offering a discount when these conversations come up. So here's what I want you to think about, right? Whoops. Oh yeah, sorry, I've got my slides, right? When we're looking at the bonus strategy, this came from an amazing agent that is another MAPS coach actually that works for KW Talent that gave this tidbit to me. And I was at a Gary Keller mastermind, top 100 agent mastermind down in Austin, and we were talking about these types of subjects in that top mastermind and going through all these things. And she goes, when commission gets brought up, so let's say that the price for the house is 500,000, right? You decide that 500,000 is where the initial asking price is that you want to set for your listing. So client goes, "Look, Brendan, I get it, 500,000. I'm just not really willing to pay that many bananas. I only want to pay this amount of bananas," right? All she does is goes, "Look, I want to make this a win-win for you and I want us to be fair. So I can deliver the value and services needed to make sure that you net the most money possible. Why don't we do this? We're talking on a $500,000 property that banana is worth X amount, right? Let's say $5,000, right? That banana is worth $5,000. So I can deliver all the services needed to get you the price that you want. Instead of listing at 500,000, why don't we just go ahead and list it at 505? That way you get what you want You net the amount that you're looking for, and we're able to provide the amount of service that you need to make sure that this is an exceptional transaction. Does that sound fair? Now, some of you are thinking in your head right now, you're going, wait, what? So I'm just going to increase the price? Well, what if the market doesn't bear that price? Do we have any idea? You could be the best CMA analysis on earth. I just had a CMA class about a week ago with like, I forget how many people, let's say 100 people in the room. And we all went through a CMA. Every single person in that room priced it at a different amount. So is that $5,000 going to make an impact to the seller? We know that the market and the buyers are going to decide what the value of that home is, not the actual buyer, or excuse me, not the actual seller, right? So these are those bonus techniques that can navigate you so that you still make the amount of money that you need to, and you're not just going, okay, well, I guess I'll just take one less banana. And that banana could have fed my kids or took them to Legoland or could have, helped my charity or my philanthropic cause or anything else that you have passion for in life or established my savings, right? So, a lot in there today. So remember, this business isn't about working harder, it's about working smarter. And we just in 47 minutes went through 3+1 bonus tactic there to hopefully set you up to have that level of success. Now you have to do it, right? A lot of this is we sit here and we go, great, I want to do all of these things. How do I implement them? Yada, yada, yada. Well, if you need help with any of this, of course, we are willing to help. This is exactly why we partnered with MAPS to have our Pulse program. It's $99 a month. If you get your market center to be involved, it's $1,000 for your market center with unlimited subscriptions for your entire brokerage or group or team or market center, however you want to do it. These are the elite strategies that we're breaking down every single week in that program. So that is the 3+1 bonus disruptive strategies for you to make more bananas without having to sell more homes. So everyone, thank you for joining us today. I will open it up. You can come off mute if you have a question. If there's any questions about anything from today or in the chat box, we'll save this remaining 12 minutes for questions or anything that you have, or we can just say au revoir. Any questions at all?
I'm just going to remind everyone on the call that this is being recorded, and we'll make sure that everyone has a copy of this replay within 24 hours. So keep an eye out on the email that you registered with. We'll let you know as soon as that replay is available, along with a copy of the value packages that we talked about, if you'd like to use that as a template in building your own.
Excellent. Well, now, everyone, thank you for the thank yous. Now take it, implement it, think about your strategy, and for goodness sakes, don't get caught up in the volume game, right? Get what you're worth, work smarter, not harder, and have a lot of fun doing it. All right, everyone, have a wonderful day. Thank you for joining us. Join us for our next month's webinar. We're going to keep bringing the smoke, bringing the heat, bringing those hot elite strategies that are going to take you to the next level. And I hope you have an amazing rest of July. Thanks, everyone.